A 10-year prison sentence awaits a Torrington man who had escaped from the Gering jail earlier this year. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, a Scottsbluff County Detention Center inmate that escaped in a stolen pickup in July before being apprehended the following day will soon be heading to prison. 50-year-old David Scroggins of Torrington was arrested in 2021 after he was caught trying to sell a stolen ATV and was subsequently charged with theft by unlawful taking, plus the habitual criminal enhancement. Last week in district court, he pleaded no contest to the charges in that case, and in exchange for his plea, all charges in 3 separate cases were dismissed. Scroggins will be facing a 10-year mandatory minimum prison sentence when he's back in court on December 2nd. Well, a rural Scottsbluff County man suffers serious injuries following an early Wednesday morning rollover. Deputies and other emergency personnel responded to a single-vehicle rollover accident near Stonegate Road and South Road near Lake Minnetonka. Sheriff Mark Overman says a pickup driven by 30-year-old Kyle Parsons of rural Minnetonka left the roadway and rolled multiple times. Parsons was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected and was ultimately transported to Regional West by Airlink. The Minnetonka-Melbeta Fire Department and Valley Ambulance also responded to assist deputies. We'll have more news right after this.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
Changing leaf colors means yard work. Your friends at Tri-City Stormwater wants to remind you of the proper way to dispose of fallen leaves. Leaves make great mulch for trees and bushes and compost for future gardens. The city also has yard waste bins, so they can dispose of all your leaves at the city compost facility. Always keep your leaves out of the gutters. Not only do they cause clogging and flooding, they can pollute our waterways by causing nutrient overload. So keep your yard looking good and your drinking water safe, because it's our water, our responsibility.
It's hunting season. Scan that QR code on the screen. Renewal by Anderson's awesome It's Hunting Season sale is on. Save big bucks, lots of dough, no bull. The hunt for perfect windows and doors is over. Renewal by Anderson is offering 20% off every window and door, plus an additional $500 off the entire project if purchased during the initial consultation, plus this. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 whole months, but hurry. Pull that trigger fast. This sale ends October 31st. Scan that QR code, visit rbawyoming.com, and happy hunting, everyone.
Welcome back. Scottsdale Public Schools is getting ready to embark on the next elementary school renovation and upgrade project, this time for Lincoln Heights. The Scottsbluff School Board this week approved the scope of the work to be completed at the school, which is the oldest educational facility in the district. Superintendent Dr. Andrew Dick says that means Lincoln Heights has unique needs compared to Roosevelt and Longfellow, some of which have been addressed in the recent past.
By square footage, it's considerably smaller than Longfellow, Roosevelt, and Westmore. But at the same time, it's also had some work done over the years that the other two have not. In 2010, the front office was renovated, bathrooms were updated, library was added on, a couple classrooms were added, and an elevator was added to Lincoln Heights. And then in 2019, some work was done in the gym to the stage and some painting.
Work to be done at Lincoln Heights will include new paint and carpets in hallways and classrooms, stairwell flooring improvements, and technology upgrades throughout the school. Cost for the upgrades will be determined as bids come in, with the district using the deprecation fund and ESSER funding to pay for the work that starts next summer. Well, the Scottsdale City Council has approved a local firm's bid to replace the HVAC system at City Hall. Initially, engineers had estimated the project to cost just north of $100,000, but Big Mac HVAC in Gering came in with a low bid of just under $68,000. Interim City Manager Kevin Spencer explained why there was such a wide spread between the two prices.
I think at the time the engineers inflated their estimates because of the unusual prices and the lack of availability of plumbers.
Cheyenne-based Johnson Controls was the only other bid on this project, with their, quote, $99,000 higher than Big Mac HVAC. And the wrestling tradition continues to grow for Gering Public Schools, as the school board has approved a girls' wrestling program at Gering High School beginning next school year. This vote comes after 15 girls expressed interest in participating to school administration. Gering senior Jada Schlotthauer, one of the students who expressed interest in wrestling, said she is excited to be part of the first official year of Gering girls wrestling. Well, coming up for the break, can the Huskers make it 3 in a row? That's the hot topic during this week's Husker Chat.
Morrill County Community Hospital and the behavioral health providers are here to help. Amber Dean specializes in mental health care, which includes medication and therapy across a person's lifespan. Melody Lacey helps people deal with a wide range of behavioral problems, from depression and anxiety to child psychiatry. Our dedicated team is committed to you and our community every time. At Morrill County Community Hospital, Bridgeport, Nebraska. Exceptional care right here at home.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Well, how about we deal with clear skies tonight again? Winds are going to be a bit gusty at times. Otherwise, not much going on here again tonight. Another windy day again tomorrow. I think it's going to be warmer as well. Breezy and a bit cooler on Saturday, but unfortunately, we still see nothing coming in the precip department. Red flag warnings and high wind warnings kind of dominate the region. Red flag warnings here in the eastern panhandle, down in northeastern portions of Colorado as well. That's where we have the red flag warnings out. If we move out beyond the red flag warnings, we have, really not bad at all out there. Yesterday, we hit temperatures that were much below normal, only 56, after a morning low about average of 33. Nothing in the rain gauge again yesterday. There's a shocker for you. And we're now over 5 1/4 inches short for the year. Another day yesterday with finally the one almost 4 or 5 days in a row there of above normal temperatures. We snuck another below average temperature in there. And as you can see, not much precip since last week here in the region. And don't hold your breath that any's coming. Very, very small rain chances as we go through the next 7 days. Let's take a look at winds, though. Those are going to be around. We're going to be windy tomorrow, breezy on Saturday, then just lighter winds as we go Sunday through next week. So tomorrow's school day forecast, how about 42 for the morning? We'll give that a B. Another C- on the way home, as we're going to be windy again here in the region. Boy, we are avoiding the cold air, though. That cold air is entrenched here in northern portions of the country. The dome of cold air there from areas like Fargo and Sioux Falls over towards Chicago. That dome of cold air stays off to the west or east of us, and we've kept it over there. We've got mostly 50s and 60s here in our area, so it is cooler than what we've seen, but not anything near as cool as what's going on to areas to the north and east of us. And winds have been stout all day out of the northwest, and quite gusty, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45 gusts at times. Very strong winds out there, and those aren't going to go anywhere as we go through tomorrow. Again, we're going to keep the winds around. Futurecast is quiet other than the winds, just a passing cloud. That's about it. And winds are going to come down tonight. Will decrease into that 10 to 20 mile an hour range early, and then keep winds under control till early tomorrow morning. Then winds are going to pick back up. You can almost see the clouds just flying overhead there as we look through Tomorrow afternoon and evening and into early Saturday morning, we have an increase of clouds around on Saturday. Can't rule out a sprinkle maybe Saturday as well. Lows tonight in the 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow's highs a little nicer, upper 60s and low to mid 70s out there. And as far as precip, we don't see much coming here over the next 24 to 36 hours. 41 and clear tonight. Winds still pretty strong, though, at 10 to 20. Tomorrow, sunny early, partly cloudy, windy later in the day. Going to see winds at 20 to 30, gusts 40 plus, and in the 70s for a high. And then our 7-day forecast, we're breezy on Saturday. We drop back into the 60s. We'll stay in the 60s and to near 70 through most of next week, but bring the winds down. And really not a bad forecast for the next 7 days.
Hi again, I'm Jason Jorgensen. It is time for Husker Chat, brought to you by Acres Equipment. As always, we're joined by Sean Callahan with Husker Online as we talk Husker football. Sean, 2 in a row for the Big Red. They went to New Jersey. I saw a great line. It's not pretty, but it's gritty, and they found a way to win it 14-13 against Rutgers. Certainly the type of win this program needed.
Yeah, I think Will Bolt said that gritty beats pretty. That was kind of the Nebraska baseball motto when they won the Big Ten a couple years back. But you're right. I mean, that game's not going to be re-aired on BTN probably anytime soon because there wasn't a lot to it. I mean, it was an ugly just battle between two teams that, quite frankly, had flaws on both sides of it. I mean, Rutgers fired their offensive coordinator after Nebraska won that game as Greg Schiano fired Sean Gleason as coordinator. And Nebraska really struggled on offense. Casey Thompson was pressured on 26 of 38 dropbacks. Anthony Grant only had 47 yards rushing. 45 of those yards came after contact, meaning there was nothing there. So the play up front was probably, the biggest thing Nebraska overcame. And to win the game with the way they played up front, that doesn't happen very often.
How about the offensive line? I think we knew there would be some struggles. Folks were hoping that it would be better. Are you surprised that they haven't shown a whole lot of improvement this year?
They've had some things happen, though. I mean, Teddy Prohaska out for the year now, and he was their best player. And Nuri Newelly was arguably their next best guy, and he got suspended right off the bat to start the season. So I think that put them in a hole already, losing those two guys. Kevin Williams just went down. But Bryce Benhart at right tackle, that hasn't obviously been there, and he got beat out, or they started playing Hunter Anthony over him, and Hunter Anthony hasn't been great either. Turner Corcoran had been playing left guard. They had to move him back to left tackle. I think we know he's probably not a left tackle, and he's playing left tackle at this point. So there's just a lot of things there that a couple of those injuries have caused them to have to do, and they've struggled, especially when it's an obvious passing situation. They just don't stand up.
Almost seems like anytime they go shotgun empty, good luck, Casey Thompson, because you're going to have somebody in your face.
Yeah, just get rid of the football as fast as you can. And I think we all cringed on that 4th and 1 empty backfield set that they didn't get. I mean, shoot, maybe it would have been a touchdown if you complete that pass, but the way they had been blocking, I don't think we gave much confidence in that offensive line holding up there.
How about the defense? And I know they have not been taking on stellar offenses, but you really have to be impressed the changes that Bill Bush has made in a short amount of time. And yeah, there's still some warts out there, and they still miss some tackles, but they've been greatly improved the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no second half points the last 2 weeks, and the way they've manned up against the run, the way they forced 3 interceptions. They've done a lot of good things. I mean, you look at that game last week, Noah Vedral, when he came in early, had a great opening drive. That was their only touchdown. After that, they blocked a punt Rutgers did, and Nebraska held them to a field goal in that situation. And then they had another drive where they held them to a field goal. So they did an outstanding job of just kind of locking in and limiting that game, because that game, Jason, easily could have been 27-0, 24-0 in the first half. And Nebraska's defense was able to settle in and keep it at 13-0, which that allowed Nebraska's offense to say, we can do this. All we need is 2 touchdowns, and they were able to figure it out.
Today on Husker Chat, we're joined by Sean Callahan. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. So the Huskers have now won 2 in a row. Now on the road again at Purdue. The Boilermakers 4-2. They've been in a number of tight games. I think they've only had one game that hasn't been decided by 10 points or less. You surprised this spread is where it's at, Sean?
It's a little higher. I thought it'd maybe be closer to 8-9 points, and it's closer to 2 touchdowns. So it just tells you, I mean, Nebraska's been fortunate the last 2 weeks. Purdue's extremely battle tested. Purdue, when healthy, took Penn State down to the wire and maybe could have won that game. And Penn State's a top 10 team right now. So Purdue, when healthy, is a very good team, but they're not healthy right now. Aiden O'Connell, their quarterback, has battled through injuries, and he's close to full health. But Charlie Jones, their Iowa transfer receiver, he's been battling injury issues. Their top 2 running backs are out. So they've been able to kind of put it together to win games the last few weeks. They lost to Syracuse, but then they went on the road and won at Minnesota, which was a very impressive win, and a very impressive win as an underdog. They were road underdogs 2 weeks in a row, and they won at Minnesota and at Maryland. So that tells you a lot about their grit, that they're able to kind of keep things together, because they've played as difficult of a schedule as anybody in the conference.
When you start to break this one down and try to think about a way in which Nebraska could go in there and pull out the upset, what's the biggest key for you in this one?
They got to force Aiden O'Connell to make some turnovers. He's been turnover prone in his career at times, but when he's on, he's dead on. And we saw last year in Lincoln, unfortunately, he was dead on in Memorial Stadium, and they weren't deep throws, but he is just a pinpoint accuracy guy. He'll make those 4 to 8 yard throws, and they just marched up and down Nebraska last year. It wasn't like they had a lot of home runs, but they just hit a lot of solid singles, just 3 yards here, 5 yards there, 8 yards there. And they just were able to put that together to just kind of slice up Nebraska. And they really didn't have an answer. So they've got to come out with a better plan to get him off balanced.
Also sounds like this is a big game for Purdue, and might be kind of a tough, kind of a wild atmosphere there for the Huskers to walk into.
Yeah, it will be sold out. It's been sold out for months now. Does that have to do with Nebraska fans buying some tickets up early too? Maybe. Because I do think we'll see a lot of Nebraska fans there too. We've always seen 7,000-8,000 Nebraska fans make their way in there too. And that's almost every road trip we go on, honestly, other than maybe Penn State. It's a little harder to get to that one. But usually when Nebraska goes on the road, they travel well. But it's a night game. It's parents' weekend at the University of Purdue. So there's going to be a lot of just extracurricular people in and around town. And hotel rooms are going for $600 a night or more in West Lafayette. It's going to be quite a scene this weekend out there for this game.
And I would think if Mickey Joseph can somehow get this one, boy, he'd have a ton of momentum and a lot of wind in his sails.
Yeah, if they were able to pull off this upset, all of a sudden you got a bye week for 2 straight weeks. This place is going to be feeling pretty good about themselves. Nebraska hasn't won 3 Big Ten games in a row since 2016. They won 2 in a row for the first time since 2018 in Scott Frost's first season when he beat Michigan State and Minnesota in back-to-back weeks.
All right, we'll see how it unfolds on Saturday night. Sean, as always, we appreciate your time and insights.
Thanks, Jason.
That was Sean Callahan of Husker Online joining us for Husker Chat. We're here every week. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. I'm Jason Jorgensen.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. First State Bank is now Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the same people you know and trust.
Culture trumps everything else.
In my years, I've never worked for a company that treats people the way this one does.
It is my passion for agriculture that brought me here in the first place, but not only that, there's a huge family-oriented atmosphere within the 21st Century Equipment.
I love working for 21st. They found something in me that I didn't know in myself. An intern to where I'm at now is such a great opportunity, and that is what this company is about.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, only a couple days remain to get tickets for the German Harvest Fest as Friday's ticket deadline approaches. Committee member Dean Kammerzal told KNEB News that the October 29th event will feature dancing to Bob Schmier and the River Boys Polka Band, along with delicious traditional German and Russian food.
We're going to have German rye bread, garlic sausage, cabbage burgers, and then our coffee cake, or which we call in German Dennekuge. We're going to have blackberry, cherry, and burnt sugar.
Tickets are $20 per person and include dinner and dancing and must be purchased by Friday and are available at the Scottsdale County Fairgrounds Office, J.G. Elliott Insurance Center, and at Riverstone Bank. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.